Thank you. All right, we'll move to public comment. Richard, you're up first.
This morning, somebody made me aware of the plow truck episode again. They were stuck on the hill going up toward the hillside cemetery, no lights still, no running lights, no brake lights, no nothing. You know, in the last snowstorm we had too, same thing, you had one headlight on, two white lights in the back, no brake lights, no blinkers, no nothing. You know, it's just like, I don't know. What are you guys gonna do about this?
Yeah, the compliance with the terms of the snowplow contract are being discussed with the contractor now, and
So
also,
that truck should be taken off the
Yeah,
road.
also-
and somebody
also
else should
the-
be plowing the road.
yeah, also our legal resources. So
And the other thing is who's accountable for the sign that got took down in Stewart Road, the stop sign, which was done by Chad Davis months ago. No one, you know, a bunch of us said stuff about it, and just never get put back up. And that's in the contract too. If he takes one down, 24 hours to put it back up.
Yeah, I recall that. We discussed that at one meeting.
I asked Steve about it and he did go down and look for it because I said that we think that it probably got knocked over. There had been a lot of snow at the time. He went out there and looked and didn't see it. He was gonna wait until the snow went down. He'll be in tomorrow. I'll have him go out and check again, see if he can find it. If not, we'll just, I guess, have to order another one. Is that something that we ordered?
I don't know, you might want to check and see if we got anything downstairs.
The thing with that is, it's not Steve's job to do that. It's Chad's job, and it's in the contract. Why are we gonna pay for somebody to be doing this? You know what I mean? That's the problem. You need to hold them to the contract.
I agree.
That's all I got to say. Thank you.
All right. Dan,
I was just wondering if anything was done with getting hold of the paving people to finish the job on Wilmette Road. You were gonna do something with that, line it up,
you're talking about that last stretch
last
there.
50 feet or whatever it is. Have you contacted them and find out what's going on?
No, so,
See how we're gonna fix it.
yeah, so if memory serves, well, actually, why don't you?
So it says in the contract, to the town line, but it also has some footage. And at the time when they did that paving, there was some question as to where the town line actually was. So they paved to what they believed to be the town line. Eric had gone out to do some measuring as far as the footage, and at the time he went out to measure it, the roads had a lot of ice and stuff on it, and he wasn't able to get an accurate measurement of
I
it.
did it both ways, and both ways came up with a different number because the wheel was slipping so much. And I just thought, as soon as this clears up, I'll go do it again.
So as
So
far
the
as they're
footage-
concerned, they did it to the town line because of where they were told the town line was.
Well, they should know where town line is, a big marker there, and I mean, the new tar starts right there.
Yeah,
Ray Charles could have found that.
we had the discussion back when about discrepancies in where the town line was, and we don't need to rehash that, but also, so we'll check it again, but also the plow or the paving company gets paid on material basis. So even if there was a shortage in
I
feet, we
understand that part,
wouldn't
but
have
it
paid
still
for that.
says from Stewart Road to the town line.
But if
The town lines, why were they paid? If we didn't go down there and check and see if they were done with the job.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I mean, this is reciting, I think what we already said, was that the
Right.
previous road commissioner didn't do his job.
Bingo. But now we gotta pay for them to truck all the machinery back up here to finish it, which, all right, they're not gonna do that for nothing.
No.
And they'll let us pay for materials to finish that. So who's gonna pay for that trucking? All the machinery back up here to finish it? Well, tell him to get his gold card out and let's go. We'll get it lined up and get her done this year. Or get an attorney on it and get it rolling. Something's gotta be done. If we're gonna wait, it'll be another year.
Yeah, well, there are a number of directions we can go, but at the end of the day, the road commissioner gave some inaccurate information. That's the
Well, let's get
reason.
a hold of them, see how much it's gonna cost to finish it.
Yeah.
And then get an attorney involved and find out who's gonna pay for this.
Yeah, point taken. Thank you. Public comment is closed.
The
And
third one?
no, Richard had 2 comments.
Oh, okay.
Select board reports. Eric?
Yeah, just, oh shit. That's what that-
He said, oh shit.
Duly noted.
Yeah, and this is just so it doesn't get lost, because, I haven't seen anybody sign up for the selectman's positions yet, so I don't know if you're gonna let me go if you don't find somebody, right? But I'm gonna hold on to this, the sign ordinance, and we're talking about the signs up above here. We need to figure out whether we're gonna change something, because apparently, like I said before, there's no distinguishable property line up there, but it can be surveyed at a cost to the town. Or we can wait till the state does something with the road. If they widen the road, they'll probably have to do a survey to recheck that line. And as I said before, with what the engineer told me, at that point in time, if they find that the signs are not in proper location and they're actually within the right of way of the state, they'll be asked to be removed at our cost or whoever's cost,
Mhm.
So, again, I just want to say that that's still hanging.
Do you have any idea when that survey might be happening?
I don't know, but again, too, if we're actually talking about maybe changes to the traffic circle or traffic slowdown in town, they may do other work in town as well, too. I mean, it would help to widen this road, and there is enough right-of-way that's owned by the state that they can, so that we won't have maybe quite the parking issue that we have. But it's, I don't know, it's all up to the people who may talk to the state, whoever that is. But that's one thing. Any questions around that?
I remember we talked about this a while ago, and I remember I kind of suggested, I don't know if it's still feasible, to check with the attorney about thoughts on our current ordinance before we think about reopening it.
Yeah,
That'd be deceiving though, if you're gonna change the ordinance to make it bill into one person, you're gonna have to do it for everybody.
that's right.
So you can't just do
Yeah.
something like that.
I don't think that, and unless I'm mistaken, I don't think anybody was suggesting changing the ordinance to make it so that this sign was in compliance. I think Eric was the one that suggested changing the ordinance to put some language in there as to what to do to enforce the ordinance if
And that's the biggest
situation
thing,
like
is
this arose.
if you're gonna have an ordinance, whether it has to do with code enforcement or whatever, it has to be enforceable and everybody's gonna be treated the same, so you don't just nitpick and see what you wanna follow through with, but it has to be enforceable. Yeah. So anyway,
Well, I'm actually taking this on, like, as of today. And I'm gonna meet with everybody and try to get my head clear as to exactly what's going on and exactly what the confusion is around it, and see if we can't figure it out. And frankly, I believe that if the town ordinance says this, then this is how it should be. So, but there's some confusion. I don't fully understand what the confusion is and why this is even happening, but once we figure it out, then we'll just figure it out and put it to bed.
any more people apply for the code enforcement officers?
I did have one person come in today, and inquire about it, said I would like to apply. I asked him to please send me something via email just so that I had something. I haven't received it yet, but I expect that I will.
2 or 3
So-
people so far?
3 people so far. I plan to start talking to people next week and just see where it goes, because it's gonna probably start getting a little busier, so it would be good to have somebody in there, so, this other person was a local person too, so that's good.
The utility pole down by the transfer station, have we contacted?
Yes, so I called the guy that I had been working with, several weeks later, he did call back and leave me a voicemail, he calls at some odd hours, and said, I don't know what happened, it was a mistake, and we'll fix it, call me back, so I did, and that was several weeks ago, and then this morning I had another voicemail from him. I couldn't quite make out what it said, but I believe he told the people who needed to move it, he wasn't sure if it had been done yet or not, but that it should be done correctly, and I had hoped to be able to get down there today and look to see if it had been moved, but I didn't get to it. So, I was gonna, next time I see Steve, just ask him if he's noticed.
Is it marked correctly now? So
It was
gets-
marked correctly before, that's why I don't
Okay.
understand why it was put in the wrong place.
So there's a point in the ground right
Yep.
now still.
Yep.
Okay,
I've seen it, it's a stake with a ribbon on it.
okay. The other one too is we talked about an audit because of just some concerns with some things that have happened over the last 6 months and to make sure that all of our monies are accounted for
Yep.
properly.
Yep. So that was the contract that you guys signed last meeting, to have them come in here and provide some training as to, as far as getting that taken care of. So that is all set and it's scheduled to begin on April 4th. It's a Monday, so the office will be closed. I'll plan to stay here all day and, I'm hoping that will, because I want to stay very focused on the audit and nothing else really. So hopefully we can get it wrapped up in that one day, and if not, then, we'll take it from there, but.
Are your plans to go back more than 1 year? Because I'm hoping that we actually go back a couple, 3 years.
Well, if there's anything particular in question, then absolutely, I can ask them about it, but they have already audited those years. I can ask them, but if I don't have anything specific to question them and ask them to look at, it would kind of like be asking them to re-audit what they've already done. So, is there anything in particular you'd like
Now,
me
I'm
to
just
ask
saying, if there
about?
were any notes that indicated that there might have been something that they had a concern about to see and kind of follow through with, any of that might have led to maybe some discrepancies or something
Yeah.
like that, or carryovers.
Because they did have that letter that
Yeah.
we saw. It sounded, haven't seen anything else and as far as problems that they saw, and basically it was just slacking, for lack of a better
It was
word.
timeliness.
Yeah. So, but yeah, if there's anything in particular, that I could ask about, but I imagine they would feel like, well, it's been audited, so do you have something specific?
John, did you have any particular concerns in any one particular area or any particular time frame?
I've been going over them with Marty, and we're gonna meet again Monday and verify some stuff that I've gone over, and I'm gonna go over some more stuff that
Okay.
with her. But I don't really think, as close as I went over everything, that I gotta get some verification on some stuff, but I think we're pretty much okay, other than a lot of what I consider excessive spending.
The things that we've looked at, John and I have gone over so far are, explainables, like such as missing checks. We have a folder of voided checks. So that's where the missing checks were. There was a couple of ACH transactions that had been returned. I've spoken to the bank about that, and basically the money he was trying to transfer from the main Highlands account didn't have enough money in there to transfer it, which actually would explain, because there is some extra money in that account that we didn't understand where it came from, and that's actually kind of an explanation as to where that extra money came from. It's just money that should have been transferred a long time ago, didn't get transferred the first try, and never got followed up on. So it's a lot of stuff like that, carelessness, and
There was that one check number 31 that went through twice for two different amounts,
Yep.
a year and a half apart.
yep, that ended up being an error on the bank's part. I've got copies of the checks And with the photocopies of the check, it has the check number. So there's the photocopy of the check. Underneath it says check number 31,
Yeah,
but the number that's on the picture of the check is not number 31. So that was just an error.
Coding error.
Yeah.
well, you can show me that information.
Yep, I got it right in my folder. So,
All right, I'll just go down the next few there quickly. We had that case where a citizen wanted to use the outdoor faucet
Mhm.
to the town office. That person will come back. We never really gave him an answer. You know, I wasn't sure that the insurance company actually gave an answer.
okay, that wasn't something that I was working on, so I don't
No, that
know.
was somebody else's.
I remember the conversation, but I don't know where it went.
Yeah, I don't think it ever went.
So what was supposed to be happening was we were to talk to the insurance company to see if we could.
We were gonna look, that came up in the context of this faucet, but also then we looped in the conversation about the spring on Spring Road.
Okay,
And there were differing opinions about the suitability of providing public water from those sources. And so we were just
Whether or
gonna,
not we have any liability.
yeah, we were just gonna look into what would be required or the things to consider.
okay.
And besides doing some sort of, they do a traffic circle or whatever, South Main going toward the North Guilford Road, just as you hit coming down from the cemetery toward Monson, Hillside Cemetery, when you hit that 25, hardly anybody is going 25. And a lady that works at Robinson's has some grandkids there. I think it's like the second or third house going back up the road.
Yep.
Suggested, and I think she may have talked to other people as well too, about putting in some speed bumps.
Yep, and we talked about that last year. Yeah.
And so I want to make sure that's on the list. And then of course, with the speed bumps, we also have to have signage that says
Right.
speed bumps, you know, just so.
Does anybody know, because I know that that was looked into and some were found, but they weren't made for winter use. So does anybody
Yeah.
have any idea who?
I have
Has
strong
those?
opinion on the matter, but first of all, nobody's talking about a traffic circle, just for the record. It came up in a discussion one time. This is not a thing. This is not a thing. Second of all, we've had a tendency in the past to just ask the town manager to go take care of things like signs or speed bumps or whatever, or methods for slowing down traffic, and just came back with, oh, I ordered some speed bumps or whatever. So where we're at now is we have the DOT community affairs person is ready and willing whenever we'd like to come and meet with the community and figure out
What to
ways to slow down traffic in the immediate term with some smaller measures, and then also make some longer term plans. So I would suggest that before we go shopping for speed bumps, we just give them a call and
Okay,
bring them up.
all right.
Will there be a charge for that?
No,
Can you send me contact information?
Well, I agree with you, Tyler, because I was thinking to myself, I said, you know, those little kiddie games where you go in the bumper cars and stuff like that? I could see the summer traffic coming down the hill, not paying to the speed limit sign, and then hitting that traffic circle.
that doesn't exist.
Anyway, yeah, well, anyway, but I was gonna go for whatever somebody was saying in this particular point in time, because I'm not gonna be here, hopefully, when that occurs, if it occurs.
You'll be on Zoom.
Yeah. But anyway, speed bumps, I think, would be a good idea, just to slow, nobody pays attention. Also, in the spring of the year here, which is right up here, as soon as the snow's gone off the sides of the roads, we get a check for erosion. We get to check those culverts for erosion that were placed last fall, see what's going on there. Yeah, I'll be around to do that. Also, are we going to try to get and form a road review committee?
Subject to interest from the community.
Yeah. Well, still think it's a good idea, but anyway.
We're set up for it, right? We have a charter or whatever it's called.
I believe something was written up. I'd have to refresh my memory and do a little digging and find. Did you guys sign something? We can look back in the
I think
minutes and
so,
see.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll look back and see.
And the last one is, property maintenance issues. And where are we as to the 2 or 3 that we have, I guess?
The dangerous building?
Well, property maintenance issues too,
Mhm.
like the one on the North Guilford Road there.
Right, so there has been a dumpster there. I don't know if it's been taken away
It
yet.
has been taken away, and there is more junk in the yard than there was before.
Okay, okay.
We think they cleaned out the dumpster.
Okay, yeah, so I actually had looked into our current land use ordinance and it's all there very clearly. So there's no need to rewrite anything or come up with something new. Basically, it's already there and just needs to be enforced. And so what we pretty much have been waiting for is spring, because a lot of stuff was buried. I have heard from some previous complainants that they feel that they're making a little bit of an effort. I did actually reach out to Sue Hoopler to see, because there was some question whether she wanted to. She was in Florida, but I mentioned it to Ed, and he was going to pass the message along and get it to her. And I told her, just let us know if that's something that she feels she needs to move forward with, that we're here, So that's kind of where that all is. I was kind of hoping that some great effort was being made, but it doesn't sound like it.
And I guess lastly is that Steve's got that town maintenance schedule for annual work that needs to be done.
I believe he does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so that we're ready for things when the snow is gone. That's it.
All right, Sue?
No, after that, I have nothing.
I was looking through the list of items that were projected for summer work for this year.
Okay,
And I think it was mainly just some stretches of ditching, and it may or may not have been part of the original scope from before.
okay,
So we can look into that.
okay, yeah.
But there were some small stretches penciled in for paving, but I don't think it's anything that's material.
What's
for this
standing
year.
out in my mind and it is the crack ceiling. We
Yeah.
had some discussion about that. It had been in there and was removed from the road plan for money saving purposes. And I just remember that there being a discussion that that's not how we should try to save money. So I don't know, there's obviously some cracks in the road. I don't know the severity of them, like what is considered bad. So I'll probably have a conversation with someone as far as if that might be something that we need to consider doing. Hopefully before the budget meetings get started. I wouldn't be able to travel the roads and tell myself if that needs to be done or not, but that's just something that I remember being important to keep up with.
Anything that has
otherwise.
petroleum is gonna cost like hell this year.
Right, and maybe, if it's not something that needs to be addressed immediately, then maybe we could put it off and hopefully pricing would come down.
I did notice there that the new stretch on the Ellettsville Road had a couple of huge cracks in it there. Just followed, I think, the old cracks from before there, and that's the new section.
I think we talked about it before, but the pavement that we use is a cold mix, and that you probably ought to contact that company, Allstate, to see if you can use the hot mix, patch it. I don't think you can.
Yeah,
I think we talked about this.
yeah, that's,
It
we,
was, the reason about having the cold mix was that it would expand in the summer, it would come back to, but in the winter time, you're gonna get those cracks.
Mhm.
They'll come back to you. That was what the thought was, I guess, when they did it.
yeah.
Was,
And
the idea behind using the cold mix.
yeah, and when we were talking about the crack seal or the crack repair, what we had directed the previous road commissioner to reach out to Allstate and get clear guidance on what they were recommending for maintenance of
Yeah.
exactly that, and I don't think we got very far there.
Okay, so they probably would send somebody up to assess it maybe.
It can't hurt to call them and ask just about maintenance.
Yeah.
And then also we have the main local roads resource as well from the Department of Transportation.
Okay.
And did they ever end up, that was the day you were gonna meet them, but you couldn't, did they end up coming? That was
Yeah,
the
they
full-
did,
They did.
but they didn't do everything. They just did Pleasant Street and a small section of the Stewart Road, so they didn't see all the work that was done. But he said he could come over again. He said, no sense in doing it in the middle of winter, you can't see anything, but in the spring he could, he said.
They charge for doing that, don't they? They
No.
charge for
No.
doing that.
I don't think so.
No,
It's a free service for the towns.
well, sort of like his job is sort of like a training and education and learning type thing.
Oh,
Yeah, so,
because I saw a payment, for I think it was around $900 to the DOT there about that time.
I don't know, we can look at it and see what it was for,
Everything.
but that guy didn't charge anything, it would have been for something else, but I wouldn't know off the top of my head.
wasn't signs or anything, was it?
I would have to look into it and look at what was paid with that, I don't know of any idea. But I'm sure it's, could find out easily,
Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I asked him that question too.
yeah.
Did we provide those mirrors?
Yes, okay, we did. We just
That's
have
right.
to do it.
Don't,
Mhm.
right.
That was DOT, was it?
Yeah,
Huh?
That wasn't a DOT
No.
purchase, no.
No.
Amazon.
No, not Amazon, like, not Northern Tool either, but something like that, some place like that.
Vanity Fair.
Yeah. I mean, they're nice mirrors, it's just, there's nowhere to put them.
That would be another question when, I was writing down here when, was it, DOT rep can come,
Yeah.
was to see what we could do with those corners for safety.
Yeah, exactly.
So I did not return them just for that reason, because there's maybe something. We just don't know. Steve had thought maybe putting them on the other side of the road on the poles, but, he tried it out, and the height that they would have had to be at to be effective, he would have hit it with the loader, and they would have been in the way, so. Anyway, but maybe there will be something.
Coming in and out of the traffic circle.
Yeah, see?
I was waiting until Sue, what's her name? Not Sue, but Aunt Kelly there, the one that lives in the White House.
Yeah.
She's gonna have
Oh,
a
Kathy,
traffic
yeah.
circle right in front of
Good
her.
news, good news, we're getting rid of the yield
I'm
signs.
leaving with good news. I'm leaving with good news.
Two yield signs, yeah. All right, 6:30, town committee reports, festival committee, no festival committee, right? No festival committee, bicentennial committee.
A Fen dance on Saturday at the gym, 7 to 10. Come and dance, eat bolas, and buy bicentennial merchandise. Then April 23rd will be the official celebration with all the officials that we can round up coming in, including people in this room and whoever Sue can come up with.
I reached out to all the state and federal officials of Maine, and maybe Susan Collins can make it, we're not sure yet, and maybe Angus King, still waiting to hear from the governor's office.
There'll be some dignitaries
Yeah,
there, or
at
the
least there's that.
representatives, there'll be proclamations to be read. The program is developing, finally.
Well, at least we'll have Sue and Tyler there.
It's
I may come later.
You're gonna be there too, I understand.
It's an election year, you would think that everybody would want to get
You
in.
think you
Oh,
would,
yeah.
yeah, but there are other things going on in the world, believe it or not. So,
Where's that?
and after that, the Memorial Day Parade is well in hand. Dawn has that all organized, so the next few months are going to unroll nicely for the bicentennial.
Excellent. Beautification?
Want me to do that too? I've got
Go for
notes.
it, you're on
Okay.
roll.
So we had a presentation this last Saturday at the Tenney House on invasive species and native plants. It was not well attended, but There were 6 of us there and we learned stuff and that's good.
The weather was not conducive.
The
to
weather
people
was
going.
not great.
Yeah.
We do have a bunch of bulbs being forced, I'll take this thing off, in town so that we'll have some bulbs blooming in the planters and the window boxes and available for the April 23rd celebration. We'll have a town cleanup day on April 16th that we'll be publicizing shortly. Hopefully we'll get people to clean up, the junk in their yards. Maybe we can incentivize.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, I'm fine with that, but make the town look as nice as we can before the April 23rd.
Was that a free trash delivery day? What did we do
We're not
last
gonna do
year?
free trash delivery, but we would like the dump truck here.
Right.
So we don't need to alert.
People would just put their trash in the dump truck.
Yeah.
They'll
I was
have
just
to get
thinking
by
about,
us to do
talking
that.
about incentivizing, I was going, oh, if there's no charge for trash that day, maybe that's a good incentive.
Well, if they bring it to the town truck, then it would be free.
And
We'll-
Would that
we'll-
be acceptable? We'll chat.
We've had stuff last year.
Gotta
Okay.
think about separating anything. Anyway,
Just maybe a separate issue.
Okay.
In a different manner, but cleaning up the town is the whole objective here.
Yes.
And then there will be, yes, I owe you a count of flag holders that we need for the utility poles so that we can get those ordered.
Well, we've made it as far as contact information, as far as
Oh, good.
who to reach out to get to that,
And
so.
that is consolidated?
Yes.
Okay.
It is. Yep, and also we're gonna kind of incorporate the outlet on that pole over there into the
Roll
whole
it all
thing
into
and
one,
hopefully kill all those birds with one stone.
So our Christmas tree next year, our
Yeah.
holiday tree will be brighter and more elaborate.
Well,
So
fabulous.
Very good.
the idea is to have American flags on all of the utility poles from Blanchard Road to Homer Hill Road. So,
Perfect.
and let's see, plant sale will be Memorial Day weekend, apparently, rather than the weekend publicized already, which will be May 28th. And that'll be across the way where we had it, next to the Lakeshore House. And that's all we've got so far, Sue, is that right?
I think so, you got it.
Okay,
Good.
That's quite a bit.
so we're busy.
I just probably out of line, but I was just wondering if they picked a day for a spring cleanup day or where we put stuff out. When do they do that?
April 16th.
16th?
Yep.
Okay. And what do you do? I never did this. You put it out, you collect it or? you
Oh,
bring it in?
that, no, not that so much, that's something different,
Are
sorry.
you talking about the free dump day?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've never been aware that we've had one of those.
Well, the thing is, the tires, that's the only time you get rid of tires. But I talked to someone in Greenville, and the way they do it up there, they get a dumpster, they charge $2 a tire to get rid of them. It costs them $1 to get rid of them. They make
So
a
they
buck.
make money.
They're making money on
Hmm.
it. I don't see why we can't do
Did you
something
ever
like
find
that.
out
But
who
we're
you're
gonna end
selling
up-
to, because a lot of people want, I got probably 40.
Right,
Oh.
because that's been a
Well,
thing
we
of where
know.
to get rid of tires,
Yeah.
so I would
Can't get rid of them.
definitely check with.
And we're gonna end up finding them on the side of the road.
Takes
and-
them.
Yeah,
Or some wood lot.
Yeah, some are
Yeah.
gonna be heaving them out.
No,
So we did something, that you can make money
he
on
hasn't
it.
offered up any kind of suggestions or,
I wonder if we could roll that into the
Jim.
16th.
so I don't know, I could check.
How to
with
get
him.
it rolled in tires.
Oh,
Yeah,
It caused physical altercation one Saturday afternoon, and then I haven't heard about it since.
Yeah, no, we just don't take tires and that's it, end of story. And I've heard nothing about who might take tires or, I don't know.
But I love the idea of a fund,
Greenville takes them, like I
as a
said.
fundraiser. That's cool,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, call up Greenville, find out who's buying them from
Absolutely,
them. and-
that's exactly what I'm writing down.
Yeah,
too.
to see who's
Yeah.
taking them, and if we can make money on it and please the people, it's a win-win.
clean up yards, good idea.
and if we could roll that into the April 16th thing, then
Yeah,
it's not much time, but
I'll
maybe
try to
it
do
would.
that tomorrow, because I actually talk to their town manager sometimes, so,
Okay. And let me know, because I can include that on making posters.
On the
for that.
posters, yeah.
yeah. So would this be just for tires, or are you talking about a free trash day?
Well, that too, that'd be nice, but I'm worried about tires. I mean,
Okay. So
I
just.
thought they
a one-
did a free trash
They
day.
used to have free trash.
We did,
day.
yeah.
Yeah.
We tried it last year. There was some miscommunication.
Yeah.
But I think, our idea was the dump truck, which would kind of equate to a free trash. But,
But that's supposed to be for stuff people pick up along the roadsides and the
Yeah. Oh, I
public
see.
areas.
Yeah.
And the beer cans are showing up in the ditch down here now, I noticed. yesterday, so.
Well, a one day would be better though.
if we could do a free trash day, that would be a good incentive. That's what our thinking was last year, because I remember that too from years ago. So who do we need to talk to?
Oh, free trash day?
Yeah,
You guys,
Hey, we get. to
Yeah,
decide.
you guys.
okay,
Help clean up a 200th anniversary.
yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Is the 16th is a Saturday?
It is.
No objection here.
No issue at all.
It's also the day the kids will be painting the pump station down by the boat launch, I think.
So this is gonna be all trash, demo, household trash, everything? Okay, and we'll see if we can get, something found out about tires.
Yeah.
I'll see
You might
tomorrow.
want to give Jim a heads up.
Yeah.
Empty dumpsters.
Hire an
I was gonna say
apprentice.
Make sure it's a clean, fresh dumpster.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good.
Crowdsourcing, love it.
Yeah.
All right, old business, dangerous building. Speaking of cleanup, dangerous building on 31 Water Street.
Yep, so just a quick update about that. I was able to find a template for putting it out to bid and also the job scope of work bid package, which was kind of stalling me because you gotta have one of those before you can put it up to bid. So Norwich Walk was actually super helpful in that and sent me all kinds of stuff. So I'm just working on getting that Monson specific, and then that will be going out to bid. So that's just kind of where that is.
Maybe we can do it on April 16th.
Maybe.
All right. Audit training update?
Yep, so that was what I'd already mentioned about they're coming April 4th, and I'll just spend the day here. Office will be closed, so there shouldn't be any interruption, and hopefully we'll be able to get that done.
Great. Code enforcement?
Yep, so I was just going to put out there that we've, had a little more interest in it, and next week I'm probably gonna start reaching out to the people who are interested, and hopefully we can get somebody in the position.
Good. Wheelchair ramp?
That was more of a question. So for quite some time, there's been discussion of putting this ramp out there. I needed somebody to refresh my memory as to why. When it first started, it was because we were thinking of perhaps putting the town office out here in this room. And we would have needed that if we were going to do that, but we've since decided not to do that. So I just was wondering if there was a reason why we were still pursuing that, and mainly why I'm wondering is, I see, I know we've got that bond for putting the money into this building. I can just see a lot more things that I would feel would take priority over that, but I wasn't sure if there was a reason why we were still pursuing that. It's a very expensive project.
Yeah, I seem to remember that it was because we were doing a certain amount of work on the building that then all of a sudden required wheelchair access.
You get grants from some, especially the federal guidelines state you have to be handicap ADA certified.
Yeah. One thing though that,
Maybe because it was a bond.
I don't know, I think it was about how much money we were spending on the building and triggered it.
Okay.
But one thing, I mean,
Well, the question is, can we access through these doors?
well, that's what I was gonna say, like the front, that's not ADA accessible, but it probably could be made ADA accessible.
Right.
Are the doors wide enough though?
Well, that's what I'm saying, like we would do some remodeling out front for a fraction of the
Yeah.
price of building
Yeah.
this thing out here, and that was gonna.
And you can always put in bigger doors
Yeah,
too if you need to.
exactly. So I just, I've been just noticing things and thinking about things and kind of doing a little redesigning in my head anyway, just to make that out there more efficient and, just better. But if we needed to spend all the rest of that money on this, I just wasn't sure why.
Yeah, you got about another foot if you need to widen the doors.
Yeah, I think that we probably could get the same
Because
out.
I personally hate that whole setup anyways. So anyways, I sort of had my own sort of visions about what maybe could be done out there, and it would solve all the problems and make the office more efficient as well. I know we've already spent money on a engineer to come in here and do us up a design and all of that, but rather than put any more money into that if we don't need to, unless there's a good reason, but so if it is just a matter of it having to be ADA accessible because of what we're doing, maybe we can come up with something better.
I wouldn't think to go to the lawyer first, but I think on this, he'll probably know, because I bet it was part of the whole thing back then.
Okay.
I think that's how that was written to get it. had to be
I'm
voted
sure we
on.
can look back at
Because
notes
if it
and
was a
see.
bond, it had to be voted on at that time. I don't remember. It's been a while because,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah. John?
How much of that bond money is available? There was mold removal, there was a lot of electrical work done, and as well as the other remodeling here, and that all came to quite a total amount of money. Do you know how much? money is
I
left?
don't know the exact numbers. I had heard that there was roughly $50,000
I
left
think so.
out of the $100,000. The rest was pretty much spent on the downstairs.
Did all of that work that was done here previously come out of that bond or not?
The mold removal, and then there was an interior drainage system put in
Yeah.
downstairs to keep it from flooding.
Foundation repair?
yeah,
Yep, and getting all that moldy stuff ripped out. They didn't really build, they did some work in the bathroom, a little bit, took that shower out of there. Nothing really has been rebuilt down there, because it's
But
kind of
that
just,
all came out of the bond?
Yep.
How about, there was 2 or 3 different times of big electrical expenses here for the town office. Did that come out of the bond too? or-
I'm gonna say that was probably all work downstairs, because there hasn't been anything done upstairs really at all, except
well,
for
we
this
had that,
room.
the power board taken out.
Oh,
One-
yes, that probably did come out of that bond, I
Yeah.
bet, yep, because that was a big project.
One of them that you're thinking of might have been for the artisan cottage got wired up, and that didn't come from the bond, that came from the grant fund.
Now, that was 260 to 500. My brother did that. That's another figure. Now, these were great thousands of dollars
Yeah.
amounts.
Yeah, no, that would have made sense.
J&J Electric did that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was that other,
yeah, that box out there was a big, project to get rid of that and redo
that's
it
all
all.
downstairs now. And windows here and the flooring. Did we change the lights? I can't recall.
No.
No.
No. No. And other than that, it really wasn't a whole lot of work in here. But,
Yeah.
all I just say is just make sure that we have a need for it at some later point in time, as far as an alternative wheelchair access.
Yeah. Yep. Because it wasn't making sense why we wanted to put all that out here anyways, because if
I know, it
somebody's
just-
coming to the town
I think,
office.
yeah, I think it had to, I don't know if it was about the office so much as being able to access the meeting room specifically.
Oh, wasn't this the library at one time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that might have been something to do with it too.
No, it came in, when the library moved out, there was some talk about putting the office back here, and that's when it all began, because we would have to have access to in here. But- Okay, well, that answers that, so maybe we can do some other brainstorming or something and maybe come up with something else and find out the reason, what we have to do. And then do something that's just practical and
Well, if we don't spend that $50,000 on this, can we spend it in another area in this
it's
building?
for fixing up this building. I don't
Okay.
think it's specific as to what we need to do. And maybe if we were gonna spend all that money, maybe we would have had to have something like that, some kind of accessibility, but we could probably accomplish that for,
The outside of the building looks pretty dilapidated if you look at it.
oh, I know, I hear it all
The
the time.
garage doors.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
I know. Hear it all the time.
Yeah.
Working
Sign
every
painted
day.
over the building. They're all-
Oh, what are we gonna do about the workspace? Co-working space sign?
Oh.
What happened to that?
I don't know. I showed up one day and half of it was hanging on the pole still and half of it was laying on the ground. I already told you. So yeah, I've contacted the company that made it, and next time he's in town, he's gonna swing in and take a look at it. He thinks that he might be able to glue it and touch it up. I mean, it won't be awesome, but he said, that normally if it's wind, it pulls those hook things out of the top, but those are still perfect.
Yeah.
So he thought it sounds more like somebody might have hit it, but there's absolutely no damage to it. I mean, it's foam, there would be a dent, I would think,
Yeah.
or something.
I thought about asking Nick and Aaron, maybe, I don't know if they have a camera that faces this direction,
Yeah.
to see if they have.
No,
any
I have
footage,
no
but-
idea what it could have been. It's a very clean break. There's no other damage. It was, half of it was off of the post, like it might have blown and just unhooked itself. I don't have any idea, but
Does that get held down by anything, or is it?
No, it's just the two, but I've been looking around at the others and most of them do have a third hook on
You would
the
think
side,
something
but
tied
not
down,
all
keep
of
under
them.
control.
Yeah, not all of them
he
though.
told me that sometimes he puts a third one on there so that it can be attached to the pole, and he was
Even if it's
asking
just a
me if that.
bungee cord or something.
Yeah, I don't know. It
It's all-
shouldn't have broken though
Duct
like that, like
Yeah.
regardless of the wind, it should just have swung.
Yeah.
That's all.
But I was just thinking too, that if he fixes it, he had to do something like put some dowels in
I
it,
thought it was that, yeah.
and so to give it some rigidity, you
Yeah.
know? but-
Yeah. So anyways, he'll be looking at it and giving us some advice on what we can do. And before we move on, there's just one more thing, the speed sign. So we did finally hear back from the people that were gonna be looking for us for a key for us. They believe they found one and they're mailing it, so that should be here anytime. And then hopefully we'll be able to open that up and see what's going on.
Is it like a vending machine key? They just-
I don't know, it's a weird key, that's all I'm told, and they finally called, and I talked to them, and then they called a couple days ago and said that they think they found one.
Nice.
And hopefully it will work.
Hopefully, hopefully.
Well, yeah, we still have to fix the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, but we have to get into it in order to fix it.
yeah. John?
Was it around $1,500 for that co-working space?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I thought.
Did you see me note about the flag the other day?
I
Something
did,
you would
is
have
it
bought in a
still in there?
minute, right?
Because Sandra pointed out, did Wayne have no luck fixing the flag?
He did have luck fixing the flag, but this, what do you call the thing that attached to the grommet, the snaffle or something like that?
The clasp thing?
Yeah, apparently it's busted, and we
Okay.
noticed it yesterday, and I meant to mention it to you today.
Okay,
We
yeah.
need to, I think the whole rope system needs to be reworked on that flagpole.
Probably. Okay, all right,
So
well,
it's still hanging by one?
It was hanging behind the main
I
flag.
think I have another one of those clasps, so we'll see.
I noticed that.
No,
the other
it might,
day.
it might, just a suggestion, it'd be, before we had the two, and if you could kind of maybe brighten it up a little bit, the pole. Just put a little paint on it. Might look good.
Yeah, and John, just to clarify, the town didn't pay for that sign.
They didn't?
No.
Who did?
It's paid for by the grant group.
Well, now on the building down back, you and Joy Motion were talking about it at a select board meeting. And Eric mentioned that there was gonna be no cost to the taxpayers for that.
That's correct.
But that went through at a cost of $5,000, a little over for that building. Then there was 500 or a little more to Finn and Page Farm, which was to bring it here. And then there was the electrical bill
Mm-hmm.
to wire it up. And it was also supposed to be put up on that vacant lot by John Boson, not out here. And that was what the agreement was here at the select board meeting, but everything was done differently.
No, that's not true. So all that funding, the town acts as the fiscal agent for the grant group. So all the expenses of the grant group go through the town, but it's a separate account. It's not taxpayer money.
So there was grant funds came into the town to pay for that building.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
And that's sort of like an account that is drawn from.
The town manages the money of the grant group.
So all the grant funds are there, even the unspent funds are on the town's books?
Correct.
Okay.
So what's left anyway?
There are about $25,000 left.
So,
How much did you get?
60.
60 for what? A grant for 60 for what?
For a number of things. The furniture in here was all paid for by that. The town website's getting redone. Things like the sign, the artisan cottage. There are various events.
So you made the purchases on some of the furniture and James Pullen made some on tables and stuff, and then they reimbursed you.
I went to the IKEA and bought this furniture.
Metal chairs.
Yeah, I figured them two.
These are really nice.
Plus a coat rack, a plant.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I figured it out. The plants, you're apparently supposed to repot as soon as you buy them. So
Oh,
it's a miracle that this one is still alive.
Well, you can't kill those.
I'm working on
Cactus, that's not a cactus?
No, that's a,
Yeah. Snake plant?
snake plant's the polite name, mother-in-law's tongue is another name for it.
Oh, I know one of those.
Oh, okay, so maybe I'll do that to that little one, I mean,
I'm
that one's
told I
still,
can't call it
that
that.
I have at home, the one that was over there. on
Oh,
the
yeah.
table. I'm
Yeah.
trying,
The last two leaves fell off the one that I took home.
is it all last two?
No, I'm gonna try to get it going again.
John, I ask about those same things every time I see them on our accounts there, because I just say, well, what was this for, right, Marty?
Yeah.
I ask every time. I said, and we paid how much for those tables?
You know, I think it would be real nice things to do if it would make things go smoother and easier in town amongst the taxpayers if you'd explain that kind of stuff to us.
I mean, we've talked about it several times.
But you know, there's only a few group of people that really come and listen, you know? And it'd be nice if more people participated, but, you know, you could talk to some people and it just,
That's the first I've heard of it.
yeah, or, oh, I really don't care, you know, it's just, so there's a variety of people.
Something that could be put on the town website.
I was gonna say as well.
Exactly.
So there's a part of what this grant group is doing is working to get a new town website and to be more consistent with promoting all the things that are going on. So that's things like a co-working space being available, artisan cottage, events, what have you. So it's communication of everything that's going on in town is a big piece of this.
What's that old saying? You can bring a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And that's the way it is with the website, but anything that's going on, you know.
So there's a group in town that's working on getting grants to get some of these different things.
We already have we're working on more grants, but yeah, we already have the funding to do that.
And I think there's some interest too, you know, with the fire department now looking at things that would normally be out of taxpayers' pocket, you know.
Oh, what happened to that old fire truck that was packed down back in the summer?
It's in the garage.
Down below.
Mhm. Long
Yeah.
story.
That was basically put there so that it wouldn't freeze up.
Correct,
So it's still being used?
yes, oh, yes, it's still
So
being
that's a good
used.
reason.
But it was
Because
just
they like to
usually
load
it
it
was
with
empty
water,
because they didn't have an indoor space
so
to
it's ready
keep
to
it.
go.
So, yeah, now it's in there.
Yeah, So town equipment, town highway equipment is sitting outdoors.
Yes.
Yeah.
So something else to discuss at a future date.
Well, it's one of those things that, what does a town of 600 some odd people need for fire equipment? Even though they do also do, what do they call it,
Mutual.
share mutual aid, as well as we handle Willimantic and Ellisville and Blanchard. But what do you need for equipment?
That's a question for the fire department to answer.
That'll be,
Yes,
if somebody thinks about it while I'm gone.
All right,
What's the ETA on the new website?
sometime this summer, probably. Yeah. we're working to have like a first, basic version by late spring, but it'll be over the summer really. New business, budget committee appointments.
Okay, so we've got 11 signups. I've got appointments here for everybody, so if you guys want to sign them, then we'll get everybody's oaths when we start the meetings.
Do you want to just read the list?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Do we make a motion or we just sign the warrants?
I believe you can just sign them.
Okay.
That's the-
So just for the record, so the budget committee signups for this year are Richard Allard, Sandra Hardy, Alan Melia, Robert Jarvis, Bobby Crockett, Joy Bushin, John Moore, Rick Clausen, John Wentworth, Patrick Scott, and Don McPherson Allen. And so we'll do when?
Right now, it's every Thursday in April at 5 o'clock. So the ones that are happening on a select board meeting night, obviously will have to be wrapped up quicker than the others. So what I'm going to do is, I know we have different topics on different nights, so I'm gonna try to do like Public Works. The fire department is probably gonna be longer than usual. I've been working with them and I have some of them gonna be coming to the meetings on when it's fire department night, just to explain what they need and why they need it. Just so we're not just asking for money randomly. So that one is gonna be a long one, and admin and Public Works usually take a little while too. So we haven't broken down what's gonna be discussed at which meeting. We may end up needing more than 4, hopefully not, but if we do, then it would probably be the first week in May that we would do that. But I'd really like to have it wrapped up by then, just so that we've got plenty of time to get the town report printed and the warrant put together and all of that. These poor printing companies, they just get put under the gun every year, and they race and jump through hoops to get us our town report. I don't want to do that to them.
I'm sure they appreciate it.
And I don't want to do it to myself either, because usually I'm responsible for about probably a third of the town report.
Well, I did want to mention another thing too, is that the site that MMA has, that has salaries and hourly wages, has a lot of old information in it as well too. And it also does not necessarily, unless you look into it deeply, indicate what a town manager does. So you have to look and see if they've got actually a position of road commissioner, whether or not they're in charge of the fire department, and whether or not they're doing all the administration. Again, with the clerk too, you need to look and see whether the clerk is the treasurer, whether or not they're doing some other things like the water district or fire department and stuff like that. So you have to make sure that you've got all the attributes of their job listed under what they get paid, And that's old information, like I said, sometimes. Some of it may be updated, but it's a very sparse system.
The information also only comes from those towns that.
That was
self-reported,
Right.
So always make sure that you got the population also tied to the job and the job responsibilities. And like I said, I found it easier to look underneath the main town population on the internet to see what the current population is. Pick out those towns that range anywhere from 600 to 1,000 to start calling to find out what they're paying. But if you want to do that, that would be better. I'd like that better. But it's up to the town manager, selectman. I won't be around during that period of time, I don't think.
Well, we did actually set the fire department one already, because they really wanted to schedule that into their schedules to be able to be there. So that one, the fire department is going to be the last one in April, for sure. That's been set. Whether or not we feel like we can add something else to that meeting as well or not, I don't know. We're just still determining how long that one might take, but it might be a possibility. The public works one is the real big one. We probably put that by itself or put the bond ones that there's no discussion to be had. It's just what it is. So yeah, we'll figure it out though.
All right, supplemental tax?
Yep, so we do have one supplemental tax here. It was a property that used to belong to the state and hadn't been taxable, and then it changed hands and didn't get updated, so the new owner did not get a tax bill last year, so that's what this is. And that's so that he can have a tax bill, since he called looking for it.
How are we doing as far as town manager? We still got people lined up, dying to do your job?
We actually, yeah, I was planning to give an update, but I was waiting to hear back from MMA about what type of info we should be sharing publicly as that's going on. So I was gonna wait until the next meeting, but we had a dozen or so candidates,
I think it was actually more.
more than that.
No, yeah, I think it was like 16 to 17.
And then we interviewed, I think, 6. So we're just we have a short list now, and I'm hopeful next couple weeks, maybe a month, we'll be able to wrap this up. I think we got a good list of candidates.
Experience?
Believe it or not, yeah. They all had very different different pieces of the pie. You know, there was nobody that checked 100% of the boxes, but a good range of candidates.
Someone that's good with the public.
Yeah.
That's a major thing.
That was up there.
Probably the first one.
Yeah.
But you don't know until that person comes in, for sure.
Trade you.
Thank you.
Oh.
I have that list back.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you for materials. When should we tell people materials will be ready
For what?
for the budget committee?
They will be ready for sure by the first meeting, and I will try to have them done sooner than that. If we can, I mean, maybe that's something we could get started, as we go through each section of the budget and get it done, perhaps we could get that part printed out and put in the binders.
We don't all need binders.
Yeah, no, I was gonna
Have mine.
say, the consistent feedback from the people that I spoke with was that they don't need all the stuff that they got in previous
Yeah.
years, really
The
just,
binder?
yeah.
They don't want the binder?
Don't want a
No.
binder.
Really?
I've still got the binder, just give me the paper, I'll put it in the
Yeah.
Well,
binder.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't even want the binder.
And I think all we really need is the reports and then the list of which topics will be addressed on which dates.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reports, to me, would mean the information that was in the binder.
Yeah, just
Okay, so we don't need to put it in a binder.
exactly.
Okay. Well, fine, we just have all these boxes of binders, but
Yeah.
fine, we'll just leave them in the closet. Or maybe I'll put them in the binders anyway.
I'll
I
return mine.
gave mine the back so you could use it.
If you have yours from last year, bring it in, I'll refill it.
It's actually a pain in the butt because I like to write notes on the back too, and then when you're flipping through that, then the next thing you know, you want those little support donuts because you ripped it out.
Pull it out,
What
look
is it?
stuff up.
I'll put room for
Yeah, I don't know, I was
it.
gonna ask that question,
Yeah.
John. What's that supplemental tax here on the?
That's what we just signed, what was somebody who bought land from the state, so it previously wasn't taxed and now it is.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry, your wallet's
I thought
just
we were
as
gonna
full as
get-
it was
I
before.
thought tax was
All right, then shall we adjourn? 7:07.
Here.